From shark repellents to the juiced-up Batmobile, here's how Batman's sweet gear has evolved in the films. When you think of Batman, the first thing that comes to mind is,
I'm Batman.
Okay, but what's the second thing? It's his cowl. Because let's be honest here, the cowl makes or breaks the look. You want the Dark Knight to look fierce and intimidating, but also cool at the same time. Take Adam West's original cowl from the 60s. It was certainly a product of its time and comic accurate for the golden age, but did it really do a good job of masking who was hiding under it?
I have no choice, Batman.
Probably not. Moving along to the later Batman films from Tim Burton and Joel Schumacher, the cowl was relatively the same for those 4 movies. It was a sleek and impressive looking mask with the famed pointy ears, but it also frustrated the actors who wore it, mostly because they couldn't turn their heads while wearing it. It's the main reason that Michael Keaton, Val Kilmer, and George Clooney look like they're doing the hokey pokey when they try to look at someone behind them. In Christopher Nolan's Batman world though, he rooted Christian Bale's cowl in a bit more reality. There was a tactical element to it, as the mask seemed more practical and a tighter fit, even having bat sonar lenses for the eyes. On the other hand, Zack Snyder leaned into the modern-day Batman look, as the cowl was sheer perfection, blending a menacing-looking aesthetic with something that could have been drawn by Jim Lee. Also, the ears were certainly a lot shorter than previous versions, making certain that villains couldn't just grab on like it was some sort of rodeo. And now Robert Pattinson's cowl is different as well, looking more like a blend of bits and bobs from the different eras. The question is, will his cowl evolve over the different films, or will this be the standard look going forward? The evolution of the Batsuit is also interesting to note. While the cape has always been non-negotiable, the rest has seen quite a change over the decades. What started out as your traditional superhero tights certainly morphed into one of Batman's greatest defense mechanisms. Up until Batman Begins, none of the suits really served a purpose except for aesthetic purposes. They looked like eye candy on camera, but they didn't provide Batman with any real advantage in the battlefield, not even those damn bat nipples. Nolan's film toyed with the idea of the Dark Knight's suits being armor, as he improved them to stay safe from knives and even dogs.
How will it hold up against dogs?
You talking Rottweilers or Chihuahuas?
But Snyder once again took it to the next level, as he showcased a Batman with a suit for every occasion.
Well, here I am.
From a regular evening punching thugs to a kryptonite suit designed to withstand Superman's attack, to even the tactical suit at the end of Justice League. Beautiful! It seems like Matt Reeves has carried over the armor concept in the Batman too, as it's obvious that Pattinson's suit is filled with some kind of Kevlar to shield him from bullets. Though we still have one pressing question about all these suits: can Bruce get out of them if he needs to go to the toilet in a rush? Part of the Batsuit's design has always been the Caped Crusader's utility belt, which houses various gadgets and toys for the hero to use when necessary, or because he feels like it. In Adam West's Batman, you didn't really see him use his belt much, because he always seemed to have everything else he needed on hand, like this incredible can of shark repellent. Wonder if he has one to spray internet trolls as well. Over time though, the utility belt has become more important with each film, as the Dark Knight uses it to store his smoke bombs and other items he might require on another night out in Gotham City. A taser was also added to its design in Batman Forever, just in case someone tried to nick his belt and use it for themselves. But the undoubted best accessory of the lot is still the Bat credit card that he used in Batman and Robin.
That's a utility belt, not a money belt. 6 million.
7 million.
Look, that's pretty useful if you're going through the McDonald's drive-thru and you aren't sure where you left your wallet, right? The utility belt is also home to the famous Batarangs. Now, in Batman Returns, the Batarang left a lot to be desired, because the Dark Knight wasn't even able to stop a poodle with it. However, in recent times, the Batarangs look much slicker and capable of damage than ever before, looking more like bat-shaped ninja throwing stars. Reportedly, Ben Affleck loved them so much that he made sure he took some home with him and just didn't tell the studio about it. Don't worry, Ben, we would have done the exact same thing. When you're talking about toys though, there's absolutely nothing bigger than the fabled Batmobile. It's such a big part of the lore that if it was suddenly removed, fans would lose their minds. While it started off as just a convertible car in Batman 66, it evolved into something that no one had ever seen before in Tim Burton's Batman. The car has since become one of the most iconic vehicles in the history of cinema, being mentioned alongside classics like the DeLorean and the Ecto-1. Heck, there's a reason the collectors have tried to score themselves a real-life replica of this gothic goodness that lit up the streets of Gotham City. But here's a funny story. At one point during Batman Forever, Joel Schumacher asked legendary designer H.R. Giger to come up with a new and radical concept for the Batmobile. His ideas, though, leaned more towards what he did with Alien, and the concept was scrapped almost immediately. But it just goes to show how important the right look is for Batman's wheels in the movies, and how it needs to take the fans into consideration. Nolan, though, took a massive risk with the tumbler design that came across more like a tank than a car. It could have backfired, but fans understood that it made sense in the context of this real-world setting that the director infused in his trilogy. Learning from Nolan, Snyder tried to find a happy medium in his Batmobile design. It had a bit of a military feel to it, but it still looked and handled more like a car. Just check it out for yourself. For Matt Reeves, he decided to dial it back in the Batman to an era in the comics when the hero drove around in a muscle car-inspired Batmobile. It might not look overly fantastical, but this Batmobile looks right at home on the racetrack, as it has modifications to make it move faster than it's supposed to. Imagine that! Batman can use it to chase down criminals, then take it to a drag race afterwards. But the Batmobile isn't the only vehicle that the Dark Knight has at his disposal. He's got an entire arsenal of motorcycles, boats, helicopters, and even planes. Oh, come on, don't be so surprised. Bruce Wayne is a billionaire, so all these things are just the equivalent of him buying a sandwich. The '66 Batman show and film really played with these options, showing off both Batman and Robin using the Batcopter and Batboat numerous times. At the same time, the Burton and Schumacher films also weren't afraid to get wacky. But undoubtedly, the highlight from these films was the arrival of the Batwing in 1989's Batman. Seriously, just look at how awesome this scene looked. The Batwing ended up being repackaged as the Bat in The Dark Knight Rises, but it also played a pivotal part in how Nolan's film wrapped up. And of course, we still got to see the Caped Crusader cruising around on his Batcycle at different points throughout the trilogy too. Snyder wasn't about to be outdone either, as he made sure his Batwing was a weapon of mass destruction, and the Nightcrawler became one of the most unique vehicles ever seen on screen in Justice League. You just felt like it was only a matter of time until the Batcopter appeared in Snyder's films, right? From what we've seen of Reeves's The Batman so far, it looks like The Dark Knight will also have a motorcycle at some point. Whether it's enhanced or not remains to be seen. But one thing's for sure, whenever there's a Batman on screen, there's bound to be a crazy vehicle as well. Feeling like you want a little bit more vengeance in your life? Well then check out our video about the Batman and how it'll be different to every other film that came before it. And while you're at it, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching and stay awesome!